Good evening, Nick family. Welcome to my channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that notification button so you'll be notified anytime I drop a video or go live. I'm here to talk about the Knicks win against Chicago last night in Madison Square Garden and also give you my take on the Randle shenanigans or whatever you want to call it. The Knicks beat Chicago 109-104 for their fourth straight win last night. They've won 9 out of their last 13, but are still 4.5 games out of the play-in because Atlanta keeps winning. Listen, playoff hopes are over, right? Had the Knicks beat Utah and beat Atlanta, they would have been back 3 games. Then we could talk about making a push. That didn't happen. The Knicks are playing out the last, I don't know, 6, 7 games, whatever they have. And then we're going to go into the offseason, start talking about the draft, free agency, and things of that sort. Say what you want about Tibbs. He has this team playing hard, they're engaged. And that tells a lot about him as a coach and the respect that they have for him, the organization, and for themselves. The Knicks go out every night and they continue to fight. RJ doing RJ things, 28.6 rebounds, 3 assists, and a more efficient game. We talked about this on the NBK pregame show that usually when RJ is inefficient, he'll follow that up with a more efficient game. And he did that last night. Right now, he's averaging 20 points a game on the season. I believe 25.6 points since February. And kudos for him. I know sometimes I'll bring up what many may consider negative points about RJ. I'll talk about his inefficiency. I'll talk about the Miami game, at least in that first quarter, where it seemed to me he was having some difficulty with the attention he was getting from Miami. And I haven't talked about it yet, but at some point I'll talk about his defensive efficiency. I'm not doing that because I don't like RJ Barrett or I don't believe in RJ Barrett. I do. He's made me a believer. But I think we just have to start having honest, balanced, even conversations about players. I think sometimes when we really like a player, we focus a lot on the positives. When we don't like a player, we focus too much on the negatives. And I think we need to balance it out. Every player has positive and negatives, and it's okay to talk about it. It doesn't mean you don't like the player. But anyway, RJ doing RJ things. I think he had 1 or 2 turnovers in the game. I think the Knicks only had 6 for the game. So he's playing well. He's taking on some playmaking responsibilities, making good decisions. I like where it's headed. How about Burks? 27 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, 5 for 10 from the 3 point line. He's starting to figure it out. Remember, he's in a different role as well. He came off the bench. Now he's a starting point guard. Listen, he's not a playmaker. We all know that. He's in that starting lineup to score, to be a big defensive presence at the point of attack. The Knicks can easily switch with him out there. And he's hitting big shots, for us. I think last week and this game against Chicago, he's been really, really good for us, really figuring it out. And I think every team needs a Burke. A Burks on it. I mean, I know a lot of fans would disagree, but you really want that guy you can bring off the bench that can get you baskets and in bunches, and he's one of those guys. So kudos to him, and I'll be remiss if I didn't mention that he hit the game sealing basket, 3 point basket against Chicago for us, and the game before he got the steal, against Cade Cunningham that sealed the game for us. So he's been playing really well. Mitchell Robinson also played very well against a good center in Vucevic. Mitch with 16 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks. He also had 2 assists and a steal. Vucevic with 16 points, 13 rebounds, and a block. But at least Mitch matched him. Like, if you're not going to outplay him, at least match him. And that's what Mitch did. Obi with extended minutes this game as Randle sat most of the fourth quarter. I don't know if that was because of the injury or because of the technical he picked up in the third quarter, and maybe Tibbs finally was holding him accountable. I don't know. But Obi played well in his 20 minutes, 17 points, 2 rebounds. He was 3 of 6 from the 3 point line. He's been shooting better from there. Kudos to him. Randle didn't seem happy at the end of the game, storming off the court. as if we lost. I'm not sure what's going on with him. I don't know if he's frustrated with his own play, with the fact that the Knicks aren't making the playoffs, with the front office for the team that they constructed. Maybe he's upset with the fans for, you know, yelling for Obi to return. Maybe he's upset with RJ's development, or maybe his perceiving that the fans are giving him a hard time, giving his family a hard time. I'm not sure about that. Listen, he's an emotional guy. Even Gentry, who coached him in New Orleans, said such, after a game, that he's always been that way, been an emotional guy. But at some point, you have to hone your emotions. Listen, he can feel however he wants to feel. Feelings aren't always rational, but you have to know how you want to show up for your team, for your organization, for your family, for yourself. You have to know how you want to show up, you know? And you have to do that regardless of how you feel. And listen, you're not going to be perfect. You're going to slip up. Trust me, fam. I know that personally. But you have to hold yourself accountable and you have to be better. And that's what I don't see from Randall. I don't see him getting better at honing his emotions. I see him actually being worse. And I think, the question for the organization is, how are they going to manage this? Are they going to trade him for pennies on the dollar? Thinking that, it's addition by subtraction. Are they going to try to manage it by bringing in more vets that he can relate to, bringing in assistant coaches that maybe he can relate to? I don't know. It's a tough call for the Knicks. After the game, there's been reports, unconfirmed, we don't know if it's true, that he axed out of New York. Was that something that he did in the heat of the moment, and then later on, realized that's not really what I want, or is it what he's want? Again, these are unconfirmed reports, but it's not an easy call. It's not an easy call for the Knicks. I believe he has a 15% trade kicker as well. For me, if Randall can get his head right, I'd want him to stay. Listen, you can construct a roster where he has limited playmaking responsibilities. You can construct an offense, where he's getting his shots in those places in which he shoots the best, right? If his head is right. But if his head is not right, you have to move on. You just have to move on. I mean, that's all I have to say, on the matter. The Knicks play tomorrow. They play Charlotte at Madison Square Garden. And I'm looking forward to that game. I'm looking forward to seeing Randall. I'm looking forward to seeing Quick and Obi. Burks. For me, I never bought into the narrative of young versus old, vets versus young players. For me, it's just the New York Knicks. Whether the older vets are playing, whether younger players are playing, doesn't matter to me. I'm a New York Knicks fan. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Knicks tomorrow, whoever they put on the floor, even if it's 59-year-old Taj. I'm looking forward to that. That's all I got to say. Peace out, fam. See you next time.